from Busia County. All right, so now I want us to come back to studio. We had started a conversation earlier when my panel has just gotten bigger. I now have the police spokesperson, Charles Owino. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on the show. We still have Marcus Aganga from ELOG, Martin Ndati, a political analyst, and we also have George Ndoji, who is a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. So I'd like to start with you, Mr. Owino. What is your assessment of the situation so far in the different counties that are holding the primaries today?
First of all, before I go to the situation, I would want to convey our Easter wishes on behalf of the Inspector General and the National Police Service, entire members, to all Kenyans during these coming festivities, because it's an important occasion. And you are also aware it's an occasion that we take with a lot of seriousness because of the security arrangements as we go on for the occasion. But maybe that will be discussed later if time will be. Now I go to the security arrangements. First of all, we take the nominations with a lot of interest. As a security, the only security agency in the country as the police. The nominations are a very important exercise, and we have liaised with all political parties, and we've given them liaison officers to assist them during this period. And all county commanders in the country have been given very clear instructions to ensure that there is maximum security during nominations, and also to ensure that we give adequate support to every member that is vying and coming, because you know also during nominations we are bound to have violence. But what is most important is that though we are not politicians, but we also analyze security situation in the country in totality, in the sense that this nomination exercise will also form the basis of what we anticipate in the post-election. For example, if a political party messes up with their nominations and they bring forth maybe weak candidates to compete other opponents, other political parties, then there are chances of us getting problems after the elections. Because if you mess up with the elections, bring weak opponents and they are flawed, then you have nobody to blame. But as security agencies, when such like things happen, there's danger of people coming up to say, oh, election has been rigged, and yet you messed up your own nominations. It's not our duty to tell them what to do. Ours is to provide security. But we are looking at nominations keenly. We are taking deep interest in nominations. We are providing security, and that is why every political party has been given a senior officer at police headquarters in operations department to be a liaison officer. Unfortunately, one senior political party has not come for meetings. The last 4 days we've been calling them.
Do you mind
we
to
don't
say
know.
Which one it is?
No, it's not fair for me to mention, but they know themselves. If they see us speak, they'll know. It is a very senior political party, and we hope they'll not mess up with their nominations.
Then they won't not have the nominations begun for this party?
No. As our commanders are on the ground, our officers on the ground, the liaison officers we are giving them at political headquarters is to support them on the ground. In event there is an issue going on the ground, and maybe the county commander requires our support, or maybe the political parties have a problem, then they can communicate to the liaison officer, and we manage to sort out the problems. But we wish them the best of luck. All political parties.
All political
in the
parties.
Country, yes.
All right, let me come to you, George. And earlier on, I had asked my two guests what they feel about the ODM disciplinary committee, because ODM really is the party that's holding their primaries today. And Martin said that it is a PR stint, that there's really nothing much that came from the committee's report. But don't you think that this is a party that is at least trying to ensure that the political environment is right as they hold their primaries right now?
I think you are right in saying that. And first, I would want to say that, like, if you see a policeman like my brother Owino here, and we happen to come from the same constituency and the same location. If you see a policeman somewhere and someone is trying to do something that is wrong, you would definitely, that's a definite hindrance. Normally, sometimes even in houses, when a child does something wrong or you're on the road, you tell the child a policeman is coming. Just the fact that there is a body there, it's not something that can be assumed. It is actually a move in the right direction. It shows that any indiscipline will be taken care of, depending on whichever way it happens. Yeah, but the fact that there is a disciplinary body, it cannot be taken for granted.
All right.
Yeah, it certainly acts as a hindrance.
But the public or critics really expected much more than just saying that, we've reprimanded them and they've heard us and this will never happen again.
Some criticisms are unnecessary because, people start looking at things like everything you're supposed to be divided, and if you call a dog a bad name, it has a bad name always. Yeah? So really, someone who is not there should not even come to start criticizing what he or she does not know. Right. It's not fair.
Let's come to Marcus again, and he smiled on that comment. But of course, the other thing, like we were talking about earlier, is the high-tech propaganda that Martin labeled what happened today with the fake print of the daily newspaper in regards to Paul Otoma. As the Elections Observers Group, are you expecting that this will be happening more and more, especially as we head on to the general elections? And how would that impact the whole process?
I mean, like he said, propaganda is propaganda. It doesn't matter how you do it. And I think what we have seen in Busia County is an extreme form that is well-funded. And it has a negative effect because then it tells the electorate that one of the candidates is not really an ODM person.
Yeah.
So that even if they had genuine supporters, their supporters would say the one we thought would be our leader is no longer within our party, so we won't vote for him. So they vote. So that means that you are left to only vote for the one you think is in the party.
Right.
Now, the injustice in that arrangement is that this other party, who has been accused to have defected to the other party, I mean, he's locked out and through unorthodox means. And the result of that process is that which is flawed. And like I said earlier on, the parties have agreed to abide by the Code of Conduct and by the Elections Act. And there are also Elections Offences Act 2016, which is very clear about committing such offences. And as observation group, like I said, we have our people on the ground, and we are documenting some of these electoral offences that are being committed in the ground, and we hope to share this information with a number of stakeholders, including the police. And
are you documenting them to help us before the elections, or are you documenting until September after the elections?
No, before the elections. Before the elections.
All right.
Yeah, because you see, there'll be 30 days of dispute resolution process going on, and a number of observation reports will be required by different parties to be adduced before the tribunal.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me come to Martin. And how important is it that ODM gets these primaries right this time round?
The way Owino said, if you bring in weak candidates as your weak aspirants as your candidates, it becomes very difficult for the presidential candidate, because instead of focusing on the presidential poll, the party leader must come back to campaign for the weak candidates. So, you will be fighting two elections. You are fighting to get the parliamentary seat, the gubernatorial seat, the Senate seat, because you have weak candidates. And, if you have strong candidates, they help you in terms of bringing up the numbers in the presidential tally.
Right.
But if you have weak candidates, then it means the presidential candidate has to come back to the backyard to try and show up the support of the candidate. So the energies and the focus is now lost on the presidential campaign. So you end up losing the presidential campaign.
But does that mean it's a democratic process? Because that does not sound free or fair. It doesn't sound fair, especially.
It is supposed to be credible. But, I told you there are still logistical challenges in the parties. 2, the structures are not there. 3, the owners of the parties, when they don't want you, they will skew the process. Because we have not fully institutionalized parties in this country. So you will realize if certain people abandon certain parties. You see, like today, if Uhuru abandoned Jubilee, you will see all his people move to, if he went to ODM today, you will see all of them, most of them go to ODM. If Raila abandoned ODM today, you will see the guys who have been singing ODM left, right, and center abandon and go to the other side. So we have not fully institutionalized parties, because the parties are hinged on certain individuals. So those people move, the support moves. And we are growing. Of course, it will take us some time. Even America has taken 236 years to reach where they have reached. But we are still growing. But we need to improve on the processes. Coming back to the issue of propaganda, what he's talking about. You know, in politics, propaganda is legitimate. The challenge is, where is the difference between propaganda and slander? How do you draw a line between what is legitimate propaganda and what is slander? And you see, by the time you go and make a determination, you know, one, you cannot prove, like, you will only make allegations that, like, that nation, in quotes, came from Ojamong's side. How do you prove that it is him who has done it? So the best you can do is to try and maybe condemn it, and they'll give a report and say that next time we hope this will not happen. But there are going to be a lot of politics.
Okay.
There will be a lot of politics as we go along.
All
You
right.
saw the one of Ongoro. Ongoro is not the one of Ongoro, yeah. She is one of the fellas in the other team writes and says that she has defected to Jubilee and she has abandoned ODM. So you see, the information goes out to Ongoro supporters that she's no longer in the party. So those kind of issues are going to, we'll have so many of them.
Okay.
And as we go along, because certain people want the ticket,
Okay.
and they know winning the ticket is almost guaranteeing,
a win.
giving you 60% chances that you will win the seat.
All right. Let me come to the police spokesperson. But before then, I understand that we have a clip regarding the security situation in the country. Let's just listen to that.
We have received there are some leaflets circulating purporting Honorable Otuoma to have defected to Jubilee. Yeah. We have got the leaflets. We have started an investigation, and I don't want to talk more than that. We have started investigations. I'm confirming we have the leaflets, so let us do our work, please. Thank you. We have officers all around. We have deployed enough people to man the polling stations. There are those on standby. There are those on patrols in riot gear. So we don't expect anything. And I warn the aspirants and their supporters. Anybody trying to cause any chaos will be dealt with as per the law.
All right, so that is Funyula OCPD really reacting to what we have been talking about here in studio, and that is the spread of those false leaflets that have been purporting that Paul Otuoma has defected to Jubilee Party. And now that we have the police spokesperson here in studio, I'd like you to comment on that. I mean, it is the electioneering period. We're expecting a lot of propaganda. Does the police have any responsibility in curtailing that for the sake of peace?
You may not necessarily curtail. But once an offense has taken place or that propaganda has come out, then it becomes our responsibility maybe to investigate and bring the person who has done that to book if there is an offense committed, if any. Remember, I told you propaganda is part of politics.
Yeah.
So does it meet the threshold of defamation or whatever it is? If it meets or libel, then what would happen is action would be taken in accordance to the law, as you've seen the OCPD say. But what I want to assure all Kenyans, that after the 2013 elections, we started preparing for the 2017 elections. And after 2017 elections in August, we will start preparing for the 2022 elections. We have that responsibility. You remember we had a problem in this country in 2007, an unnecessary problem, which we would not want the country ever to go back to. And it is our responsibility to do that. And that is why, even as the primaries start, the officers are quite vigilant and will ensure that we take full responsibility of protecting these elections. Remember before, the political parties used to tell us that the primaries is their own responsibility.
Yes.
We like to say it is not. It is a national duty. It is an election process within, it is part of the election process up to the time that we come to for the final elections in August 8th. So it is not, you cannot tell us that this is our, this is our business.
Yes,
you
yes.
don't come in. our duty is to protect all Kenyans and their properties. And if you are going to threaten, beat up, or even kill a Kenyan because you are looking for nomination, then we have a responsibility to prevent that and, if possible, deal with you.
All right.
So that is why we are quite firm on the ground, and that is why we have even given out liaison officers to political parties. Ordinarily, people would think the policemen would shy from talking to opposition. They are part of this country. We are not shy talking to anyone. We deal with government on our constitutional responsibility, but basically we deal with all Kenyans in their all sorts of walks as they come.
All right.
So we are prepared, we are ready, not only for the nominations, but also for the national elections. And that is why I'm very clear on this,
All right.
that political parties should take advantage of this nomination to help us secure the country after post-election. So that if you lose in August 8th, you are happy and you say, congratulations.
So you put your
I've
best
lost,
foot
I've lost
forward.
fairly.
Yes, yes.
But if you prepare to lose and then wait to blame police or the state, pole sana.
It's interesting that you said they should put their best foot forward. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, let me come to the question to do with IEBC being the one to present this aspirants list, to to be used in this process. What is your take on that? Is it a plus or a minus? Are we likely to see issues coming up from that?
In my opinion, it is a plus because it is along the way of trying to get more organized, getting our political systems more organized, and to avoid manipulation and last minute where you have people who are not even contesting being elected into positions. So, so that you have people who are not desiring to lead being given leadership. So I think by and large it is a positive thing, and it is going to help our political systems, because I think it goes along the way that if you are not originally intending to vie, then there is no way you can be picked from somewhere and be brought in to vie.
Martin, do you think this is one of the things maybe that the political parties should be left to deal with, this issue of the list, the aspirants list?
It is a legal requirement. So IBC was just performing one of the responsibilities that they have been given by the law. You remember ODM wanted to do the nominations earlier,
Yes.
before the names were gazetted. That was going to cause them a lot of trouble, because those who would feel they have lost out, they could very easily go to court and challenge that the names had not been gazetted. You see, I saw Angela speaking in Budalangi and saying something very dangerous, that they will allow certain people to vote as long as they know they don't belong to Jubilee. How do you gauge one who belongs to Jubilee?
Right.
And yet he's not in the register? The law is very clear. If you have people who are not members of the party voting in the primaries, that in itself is illegal. Because the moment you have more people than those registered turning out, somebody will go to the party mechanism and complain. If it's not addressed, they'll go to the tribunal. And if they lose at the tribunal, they go to the High Court. And the High Court would uphold that those nominations they are not credible. So they must be very careful to try and stick within the party requirements. Because if you have 20 members, those are the only ones who should vote.
Yes, yes.
That's what it is, and that's what the law says.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll take a break right now, and we'll be coming back and continuing with our conversation here in studio. And we'll also be crossing over live to Murimi Mwangi, who is in Machakos. Machakos, the process began in earnest, and you've seen that there are long queues of people who came out really to vote for their favorites, and we'll be speaking to Murimi Mwangi later on. But let's take a break right now. We'll be coming back shortly. Don't go away.